Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. Here today, as you can kind of see on the screen, I want to focus on a couple of things here. Obviously XRP, Flare Networks, and Flare Finance specifically as well here in this one. This is a video that a lot of people have been asking me to make, and I think I could no longer say no to this one. It is a video, however, that I know by making it, I kind of am damaging my own earning potential in certain things, because the more people participate in what I will be explaining you in this video, the less beneficial it is for the people that are early, I guess. So this might be a long video. I just want to make sure that I explain everything clear. So you might want to pause the video here, get a drink, get some snacks before we move on. Otherwise, just do. I hope you do appreciate kind of what I want to do here for you guys, and just explain everything that I believe to be true and what I'm looking at doing. You can call this something like my plan, I guess, for Flare Networks and Flare Finance. You'd really be helping me out. As you know, I'm just getting the channel started. I'm trying to grow my followers, and if you do find value in this video, if you do like these type of things, please do follow me. You'd make me very happy, and it also motivates me to kind of continue with these videos. So feel free to share this with anyone you want. But as I said, you might want to see this kind of as the secret sauce. But we can. It's up to you. You decide, guys. I'm sharing it because I want to be open and honest with everyone in the community. So hope you enjoy. So that all being said, obviously none of this is financial advice. Things might change. This is what I'm currently looking at right now. This is what I all believe to be true. But if anything changes, I will update you as well. Okay. Now, that being said, so what are we going to talk about here today? Well, it's going to be this. Now, no need to pause the video and zoom in and try to read stuff. We will be going through all of this. I will be explaining every part, like every word, I guess, that you can see on the screen right now. I will also be zooming in, so don't worry. But I wanted to start with like a large overview of the whole picture, because I really want you to fully understand what we're trying to achieve. And I want to break it down as easy as possible, and I'm gonna try and keep it as what's the opposite of technical? I guess try to explain everything in layman's terms, right? So I think I'm just going to get going right now. So when we're zoomed out like this, there's a couple of things that you'll see. You'll see up at the top here, you see stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Now, once again, don't worry about not being able to read it. I will zoom in, I will explain it. But for now, just know that there's basically 3 stages to my plan. When you look a little bit closer, you'll see here stage 1, 2, and 3 again. And you'll see they have different colors, right? So stage 1 is blue, stage 2 is green, and then stage 3 is red. You can kind of see a lot of lines, squiggly lines, and all this kind of stuff on the screen here. Now, once again, don't worry about trying to figure out what it means right now. Just know that like the lines represent different stages and how I'll be moving my money around basically in order to make more money. And I will have specific goals in every stage, which I'll walk you all through right now. Now, besides that, the second thing that you'll probably see is that below here, there's a couple of boxes. So we've got the XRP ledger, right? So you can see that here, which I'm going around now with my cursor, right? So this is the XRP ledger. So this kind of stuff would happen there. Then to the right of that, we have Flare Networks right here, right? This, the whole kind of thing. And then on top of Flare Networks, you'll see we have Flare Finance here. So that is kind of this box here. And then on the side here, I've got Fiat. I've done a video before on Nexo. You kind of see Nexo mentioned here as well. Actually, I should probably move that line from that box up here, because obviously Nexo is not on top of the XRP ledger. But you know what I mean, right? So we have the XRP ledger here. We'll have kind of Fiat here. We have Flare Networks on the right. And then on top of Flare Networks, we have Flare Finance. All of these will play different roles within my plan. We also have kind of starting points of stuff that we have, right? So we have XRP over here on the XRP ledger that we start with. Obviously, after the Flare network goes live, once that happens, we'll have Spark tokens, right? They'll be over here. Then when Flare Finance goes live, we'll also get DAO Flare, right? DFLR, you'll see that here. And they're kind of our starting points. Now, I'm going to zoom in now and kind of give you a better understanding of what we're trying to do and how that will work, okay? So let me zoom in first. Let's have a look here. And just pure look at the XRP ledger for now. Okay, so I know that I've kind of explained this part before in a different video, but I just want to be complete, so I'm just going to include a bit here as well. So you have your XRP on top of the XRP ledger. Now, just if you want to keep it there and just leave it there, that's all up to you. But if you want to participate on the on Flare networks, you can basically move your XRP over onto that network. Now, I say that, but I'm going to correct myself straight away because that's actually not true. Okay, your XRP will not like move over onto Flare networks, right? This is a completely different network. They're not connected, that you cannot move it over. However, you can send your XRP to an agent, and then FXRP will get minted on the Flare networks, right? And this, what I've kind of drawn out here is the process that happens, and I'll talk you through this right now. So when you hold XRP, you are an originator, or that means like if you want to actually say partake in smart contracts and you want to mint FXRP to do so, because it starts with you are the originator, you're the XRP holder. Now, the thing is here, in order for you to get FXRP, you'll need to use kind of a bridge, right? A bridge between the XRP ledger and Flare networks. Now, that bridge is called an agent. Okay, so an agent is basically a person or a group of people or whatever you want to call it, right? That hold Spark tokens. Now, if you will be receiving Spark tokens, you could choose to become an agent, but I am choosing not to do so in stage 1, and I'll explain why in a minute. I think it's just more beneficial for me not to do so. Because I think there'll be better ways to earn money in the beginning. But just to explain the concept here. So the agent is someone who has Spark tokens and is willing to lock them up for a period of time. And as a reward for doing that, they will earn XRP. Now, how does that work exactly? So the XRP that the originator once basically swapped for FXRP on Flare networks, they will have to send it to the agent, plus a 0.1 creation fee. Now, that fee is something that in the end, the agent will get to keep, right? So that's the whole point of the agent doing this, because they're earning XRP. So whatever the value of XRP is, plus 0.1% is what you send over to that agent. Now, that agent then gets your XRP, and they hold on to that for basically for the duration of the contract. Now, in the meantime, what happens is that because you cannot trust this agent, right? You want it to be trustless. The agent needs to sacrifice something too, right? Because otherwise, you can just run away with your XRP, and then you've just lost your money. So, in order for that not to happen, the agent needs to lock up what you can kind of see here 2.5 times the value of the XRP that has been sent to the agent, or that will be sent to the agent, because obviously, I'm guessing this happens first. Now, obviously, because right now you can see that, like, if I'm just going to make up an amount here, say you send $100 over, and obviously plus that 0.1%, but then from $100, the agent will have to lock up $250 worth of Flare. Okay, so that's kind of what they have to do. So, say that they were to run away with your XRP, then you'll get compensated for the same value that you sent to the agent plus 1%. And that 1% extra is to cover transaction fees and that kind of stuff. If you have to, say, sell the FLR to buy back the XRP that the agent ran away with, right? So just understand here, the agent holds onto it. It's not locked up. They could run away with it. However, it's not something to worry about because of the 2.5 times value that's locked up. It would not be beneficial for the agent to do this. If the agent was to do that, obviously the whole value that they need to pay back to you, plus that 1% gets taken away from this, like the whole amount that got locked up. Then what remains, because obviously this is a lot more, right? The value that remains, 50% of that also gets burned. So the agent will lose that 50% of what's left, and the other 50% they will get back. Now, so like it's just not worth it for them, right? So you can trust them. So now that we know that you have to send your XRP to an agent, the agent needs to lock up 2.5 times the value. Then what happens after that is that now that that's done, then the basically what the Spark tokens get locked up, get sent to the FXRP system, right? So it's a kind of a collection of smart contracts. And then the FXRP gets minted. Now, the FXRP, I've said here as well, is one-to-one kind of value-wise with XRP, right? They're worth exactly the same. So you can swap XRP for FXRP and back and forth, the value will be the same. So the FXRP here is basically gifted or sent to the originator, but this time it's on Flare Networks, okay? So very quickly again, XRP gets sent to the agent plus a 0.1% creation fee. The agent has to lock up 2.5 times the value of whatever you sent. That gets sent to the FXRP system, right? Collection of smart contracts. And then FXRP gets minted, right? So minted means basically created out of thin air. Okay, so the you lose your XRP here because you send it to the agent, but you get FXRP back in return, which is valued at exactly the same price as the XRP that you lost. Okay, so that's kind of just how you kind of switch over from the XRP ledger onto Flare Networks. As I said, you don't technically do it, but this is kind of how basically the value moves over, right? So the value stays the same. Now, once that's done, you're free to use FXRP for smart contracts, etc. on the platform. Say whenever that the FXRP wants to get swapped back for XRP, what then happens is once again you go through the FXRP system, call it the collection of smart contracts. The Spark gets returned to the agent, and then the agent sends the XRP back to the originator, right? You can see that here. Minus, of course, that 0.1% fee that the agent earned for offering up the collateral. Now, I know I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to talk about this too much more, but I just wanted to kind of give you a taste of like how this kind of works, right? How you kind of swap over from the XRP ledger over into Flare Networks. Now, so that now we know that we can move, or obviously not technically, but I'm just going to call it this way for the duration of the video, right? Once you move your XRP over onto Flare Networks, we can continue here. So now, this is where it gets interesting. Okay, ignore the Flare Finance part for now. I'll get into that in 2 seconds. Let's focus here on this part first. I'm not going to go through the tokenomics. I have them here. It's not important for what I'm trying to explain right now. I just want you to understand the larger concept right now, okay? You will get your Spark tokens, obviously after the airdrop has taken place. You can obviously probably buy them and that kind of stuff later on as well, but I'm just going to assume for now that you get them. And once you get them, there's stuff that you can do with them, of course, okay? You can obviously send them over to Flare Finance, stuff like that, which I'll continue now in 2 seconds. But what I want to kind of just do first as well is just going to run through a few tabs that I have open here at the top. When it comes to the XRP ledger, obviously the tokenomics here, you can find it here, right? So on the ripple.com/XRP/market-performance, here you can see the XRP metrics. I'm just going to close that tab to get rid of that. Okay, so now that you have your XRP kind of moved over and changed to FXRP, and you have your Spark tokens, and you have them both here on Flare Networks. So let's go to stage 1 of my plan. So my plan, stage 1, is earn as much YFIN as possible. So these are the kind of the things that I want to do, and like obviously you can pause the video and read through it here. You don't have to. We're going to talk through it now in a second. But just know that the very first goal is to earn as much YFIN as possible. That's stage 1. Okay, so how do we do that, and how do we do that best? So let's have a look at Flare Finance. So Flare Finance has 6 products: FlareX, Flare USD, or sorry, Flare Wrap, Flare Mine, Flare Farm, Flare Loans, and Flare Mutual. Now, this is back in March, I think it was, I was chatting to Flare Finance, and I asked them a couple of questions. You can see it here. So, hi Flare Finance, I have 2 questions that I hope you can answer for me. Number 1, will all 6 Flare Finance products launch at the same time? And I'm specifically interested in using Flare Farm, Flare Loans, and Flare Mutual straight from the get-go. And 2, will the APR minus the 1.5% fee, ignore that now, we'll get into that in a second, earned from Flare Loans be paid out daily like it does say with Nexo? Or it'll be like weekly, monthly, or whatever timeline. They got back to me and they said, yes, all 6 products will be launched from the beginning. So that's good. And yeah, it's also all the APY in the form of YFIN gets paid out every day, right? So that's good to know as well. Now, so obviously, I was very happy to hear that back in March, because there's some really cool things that we'll be able to do right now. Now, I'm just going to run through these 6 products very quickly. So if I just go to their website, right? This is the Flare Finance website. I'm going to go down a little bit. You'll see the products here. So we've got FlareX. FlareX enables users of the Flare network to swap currencies and earn passive income, providing liquidity to liquidity pools. The decentralized on-demand liquidity is made available to traders through a simple and easy to use interface. Okay, so the main thing to take away from FlareX is just swap currencies is the main thing, right? You can kind of swap stuff around. So we have that one up here, FlareX. Then the second one is Flare Wrap. So Flare Wrap enables users to bridge their currencies to the Flare network easy without needing an exchange. So basically see this as external products coming onto the Flare network, right? So stuff like USDC, USDT, that kind of stuff, right? So like they're not assets from Flare Finance, they're not from Flare networks, they'd be like from other platforms, but then brought on to onto Flare Finance. Okay, I have that one here, Flare Wrap. Then the next one we want to look at is Flare Farm. So Flare Farm is the ecosystem's primary governance yield farming platform and fair launch distribution platform. Flare Farm enables users to earn yield easily and effectively through participation in various staking pools. Now, I don't know if that sounds very complicated or not. To simplify what this is, basically, by you parking your money in specific places, right? So like say in these pools, you'll earn more money, right? So that's all it. You're going to, yeah. So it's called farming, like yield farming. We'll go through that now a bit more later on, but just know that by putting your money in a certain place, you're going to earn more money. It does not have to be this like one for one, like the same, like in-kind type. What I mean by that is, if you put one product somewhere, you might earn rewards in a different type of product. Okay, but like that's what you can happen here in Flare Farm. So I have that one here, and we'll get into all that stuff later. Then the next one is Flare Mine. Now, I personally will not be using Flare Mine. That's why I kind of have it up here to the side as well. It's not linked to anything, as you can see. I'll explain what it is, but like just know that for now, for what I'm doing anyway, it's not going to be important because I'm just not a miner. So Flare Mine is a decentralized yield mining platform that allows owners of Bitcoin or Ethereum mining rigs to mine various non-proof of work tokens, additionally serving as the first infinite mining portfolio manager. So I'm not going to get into too much depth here. See it as if you are currently mining Bitcoin or Ethereum, there's certain ways that you can set it up that you will basically swap whatever you're mining straight away into like Flare assets. It's not something that I'm currently doing. It's not something that I plan to do anytime soon. So I'm going to leave Flare Mine out of this for now. Flare Loans. So Flare Loans is an asset-backed loans issuance platform which provides decentralized on-demand liquidity by enabling holders to pool their assets to be loaned against the borrower's collateral. Okay, so to simplify this, basically, I don't know if you've ever seen a platform like, I'm a big fan of Nexo, you probably know that already. Celsius is another platform. There's more out there, right? But it's not the platform is not the issue here. My point is, the way they usually work is that you have to put up collateral, and then you're allowed to borrow against that collateral. If the person who takes out the loan does not pay back their loan, then you get the collateral. You get to keep the collateral. Now, usually, the amount that they're allowed to loan is less than the value of what they have to put up as collateral. So just as an example, maybe you put up €1,000 collateral, maybe then that means that you'll be allowed to borrow €500 worth of euros or dollars, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But let's say half. Then if you don't pay back that $500 in this case, you'll lose the $1,000 worth of collateral. So if you are the person that is holding on to that collateral, it might be quite beneficial for you if that person does not pay back their loan, because then you just get more, right? Otherwise, you'll probably get back what they've borrowed plus interest. But if they default on their payment, of course, then you get the whole collateral. Just kind of want to explain here that how this will kind of work, right? So that's Flare Loans. So Flare Loans, I've put out here as well. And then the last one is Flare Mutual. Now, Flare Mutual is a decentralized mutual fund that allows people to share risk together without the need for an insurance company. So basically, this is insurance on your, I'm going to assume kind of that this will be on your loan. Might be on other stuff as well. There's not a lot of information available at the moment when it comes to Flare Mutual or Flare Loans. I have that open here somewhere. Let me have a quick, oh wait, I think I got it on this page. Yeah. So information on Flare Loans and Flare Mutual, like the distribution and how does it all work, will be further detailed in version 2 of this white paper. So they're not telling us too much about it. However, we do know from the message that I had with them that all 6 products will be launched from the beginning. Now, because I was looking into Flare Finance at the very beginning, there was actually more information available on these 2 products back then than I can find right now. So I have written certain things down in this because I was obviously doing this back in February and March. And we'll get into that now. But I just wanted to make sure that you kind of understand these 6 products. So I hope that you now kind of have an idea of what they are. Now, what you can do right now is basically forget these 2. We're not, for what I'm going to explain, we're not going to do anything with wrapping, and we're not going to be doing anything with mining. So we're only going to focus on Flare X, Flare Farm, Flare Loans, and Flare Mutual. Okay? So just going to zoom out a bit again to give you the whole picture. So what we now know, what we've done basically, is our XRP is moved over onto Flare Networks. We have our Spark token, and now we want to start putting stuff to work. So we know that Flare Finance offers these 6 products. We also know that after we get our Spark tokens, about 1 month later, we will all receive DFLR as long as you're holding your Spark tokens in the right place during the snapshot. So if you want me to go into more detail with that, I'll do that in a different video, or maybe on Twitter we can just have a chat. But for now, just know that whenever you receive your Spark, 1 month later, there'll be you'll receive like there will be a snapshot for DFLR, and then you'll have, I think it's 7 days to swap your DFLR to YFLR. Now, the reason they're doing that, Flare Finance, is because they don't want people to just to hodl. They need people to participate in the network, right? To provide liquidity, to actually use all these products, right? And they're trying to stimulate that by forcing people to use Flare X. So as we said, kind of Flare X is the exchange, right? Where you can swap certain currencies or assets for other ones. So what they're forcing you to do basically is you get this DFLR, and you have 7 days to use their platform and swap it for YFLR. I'll zoom in a bit again. And you have to do that through FlareX, which I think is good because it means that you have to get used to using the platform. Now, if you don't do that within those 7 days, what happens with this DFLR is that it basically will get destroyed, it'll get burnt, right? So it's basically use it or lose it. So just be aware of that. Okay. So I don't know if I've been kind of talking too much about other stuff right there, but I want to make sure that everything is clear. What I am going to do with my Spark tokens when I receive them is I am going to move them, as you can see by this blue line. The blue line is stage 1. I'm going to move them over here to Flare Farm. Okay. I'm going to do exactly the same thing with my FXRP. I'm going to put that into Flare Farm as well. So why am I doing that? Well, Flare Farm, by participating here, you'll be earning YFIN. So YFIN is the governance token. You can see that here on Flare Finance. Okay, so I want my number one goal, remember up here from stage 1, is earn as much YFIN as possible. That's here. So I got my Spark tokens over here now in Flare Farm. I've also got my FXRP over here on Flare Farm. They're both earning YFIN. And now we're kind of getting to the part where I said that like this is probably the reason why I should not have made this video, because I'm shooting myself in the foot here, because there is a fixed amount of YFIN that can be earned per day. I believe from the old papers that I read from Flare Finance that it was something like just below 22 YFIN per day. Well, you can obviously understand that when you I'm just going to give a very simple example here. Say you have $100 and there's one person participating, and that $100 every day has to get divided among all participants. That means that since there's only one person, that one person gets $100. Say the next day a second person joins. Well, it's still $100, but now it has to get divided over 2 people. So now everyone gets $50. Now, if there's 100 people in there, that means that everyone gets $1. So what I'm trying to say here is that the more people are participating, the less each person will get. I don't know if this is a message that has been made very clear by other YouTubers. If not, I completely understand why. But I just want to be as clear as possible with what I'm explaining here, and I hope you appreciate it. If you do, I'll continue now in a second, but please do give me a subscribe. You'd really make my day, and give this video a like as well. Okay, so you have to be aware of something. So when this starts off in the beginning, obviously less people will be participating than later on, because as the network gets more popularity, people will join. The more people join, the less you'll earn over time, because it's just being divided by more and more people. So it's very important to get in early into Flare Farm, like literally as soon as possible. Okay, just so that you'll earn more, because you'll see that this will become less and less over time, and that's also what will cause our strategy to change, right? While we move from, say, phase 1 of my plan into phase 2 and eventually into phase 3. Now, there's another thing we need to touch on here. So now that we've moved our Spark tokens, right, into Flare Farm, they're now just sitting here, right? Obviously, yes, they're earning us YFIN, but they can do another thing, and this has to do with the Flare Time Series Oracle, right? Because the cool thing about Spark is that our token, we can delegate our vote, right? Say the value of the token and the voting power is not linked together. So we can delegate our vote and hand that over to, I have a couple of examples here. I've got FTSO Europe here. I have FTSO UK and FTSO AU, Australia, as 3 examples of places where you can delegate your vote to. Now, the cool thing is as well that you don't have to make a choice. What I could do is I could give, say, 33% of my vote, right, to FTSO Europe. I could give 33% to FTSO UK, and I could give 33% to FTSO Australia. It's completely up to you. The aim of the game here is just to find, or I guess to delegate your vote to companies that will earn you the most, right? And that can change over time as well. If you're not aware how this works, I can show you quickly because I have it open in one of these windows. There we go, this one. So right now we're just going to jump quickly into FTSO and how you get paid. So basically, I'm just going to read it and then I'll explain. This result is a distribution over the votes, of which the top and bottom 25% are then truncated. The median of the resulting distribution is taken as the price estimate, and the 50% of voters whose submissions were used are rewarded. So what does this mean? Well, what this means is that all of these, the votes or whatever you want to call them come in. They cut off the bottom 25% and they cut off the top 25%. They get rid of them. And then that middle 50% that's left, those were the 50% that was most accurate. And they get rewarded for their accuracy. So what you're looking for is either FTSO Europe or FTSO UK or FTSO Australia or any of the other ones that are out there. You want them to be as accurate as possible, because the more times that they are inside that 50% that gets rewarded, that also means that you get rewarded. Now, I don't know the exact percentage that they keep their rewards and what they share with you, but what it's called anyway is an Oracle reward. And that is basically Spark tokens, right? So FLR. So I'm going to make up this percentage right now, but just to give you an idea. What they might do, because obviously these companies need to make money as well, they might keep something like, say, 20% of the reward, and 80% might go to you. Now, those percentages, as I said, are made up. They might be completely different, but just to give you an idea. But this is pretty cool, right? Because now you've delegated your vote, and just for delegating it, you're going to earn more Flare. So what do you do with that? Well, I'm going to put that back into Flare Farm, because what I've now created is basically a loop, right? So the more Spark tokens I have, the more I can delegate. The more I delegate, the more rewards I get. The more rewards I get, the more I have in Flare Farm. So we've got this loop going here now, right? Of me basically generating more Spark, delegating more, and then earning more, right? So this is good. Loops are good, right? But don't forget, at the same time, we were also earning YFIN. Okay, so what do we do with this YFIN that we've earned in Flare Farm? Well, what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to put the YFARE that I've earned from Flare Farm, I'm going to put it into Flare Loans. Because when it's in Flare Loans, you get paid in two different ways. You also earn YFIN from Flare Loans, but besides just more YFIN, you also earn an APR, right? And then there is a small fee that gets subtracted from that. Now, it's not... so basically what happens with that 1.5% fee, it goes over to Flare Mutual, right, for the insurance. We'll get there in a second. But you are getting that APR, and that's in kind, right? So whatever loan is taken out, so someone might take out an like FXRP or whatever, LTC or Doge or whatever it is, you'll earn a percentage on that in APR as well. And the cool thing is, then you can put that back in again, right, back into the system. Whatever you earn in APR, just put it back into Flare Loans. So what you're doing here is you have another loop created. So yes, you're earning more YFIN. You're also earning the APR on whatever the loaned product was, asset was. And then you put it back in, which means that you can now basically borrow out more, right? And then this continues, so this loop, and you're earning that YFIN. Now, so the YFIN that I've earned here, what am I going to do with that? Well, that I'm going to put into Flare Mutual over here. So the cool thing about Flare Mutual is you get shares of the fee pool, right? And that fee pool is this fee from here, that 1.5%. But you also earn more YFIN. So what do I do with this YFIN? Well, this YFIN I put back in here in Flare Mutual. So we have another loop that is just continually growing here, right? And then here upstairs, we have another loop, because the shares of the fee pool, like what that is, I'm going to put that back into Flare Loans, which means you get more APR, which you can put back into Flare Loans. You also get more YFIN, which you can put into Flare Mutual, which gives you more YFIN, which you put back into Flare Mutual, which also gives you more share of the fee pool. Like, you see what I'm doing here? So these are loops that are continually growing. Okay? So this here is basically my massive, like what I'm going to start off with. This is my plan. Do you see how beneficial it is to get in early and earn more YFIN? Because the more you earn here initially in YFIN, the more you'll have to put into Flare Loans, the more you'll have to in Flare Mutual, and these loops will grow faster and faster. So this is why I think a lot of people may not want to share this information. And just to be completely honest about it, I hesitated for a while as well. Should I share this or not? Because it's exactly what I showed you right now, right? The less people are in this, the better. But yeah, I hope you'll reward me with a subscribe. Anyway, let's move on. So we've got this here. So now that's phase one. Like, as you can see, we're continuously earning YFIN, right, all over the place. Now there will be a stage where so many people have joined that it's basically not worth our time anymore. Right? It's just not worth it. It's been divided over so many people. So we might want to change our plan a little bit. Okay, so then we go into stage two. So actually just want to go back here to stage one. So basically, this is just a list of the stuff that I just explained to you down here, right? In this loop situation. But then now we move on to stage two. So stage two, we now no longer care about YFIN, right? Because it's just not worth it anymore. What I want to do in stage two is I want to grow my FXRP holdings, because FXRP, as we've seen here, is one-to-one, like swappable, whatever you call it, the value is the same as XRP. So basically, by generating FXRP, I am also generating XRP, right? Because I can swap them. So stage two is basically this, the green line. And the green line is basically, you can see everything is kind of the same except for one thing, and that is my FXRP. So in the beginning, what I was doing is I had my FXRP here in Flare Farm, right? Generating YFIN. Now the only thing that changes basically is, instead of putting my FXRP in Flare Farm, we're going to follow this green line over here, and I'm going to put it into Flare Loans. Now the only reason I'm doing that is because of the APR. Right, now at this point, I want to earn in FXRP, not just in YFIN, because YFIN right now is it's just been diluted, I guess is probably a good word to use. So stage two is me moving it into Flare Loans, and that way, through APR, generating more FXRP. Obviously, the same thing happens here, right? Because I now have more in Flare Loans, I'll earn more APR, but I'll also earn more YFIN here, right? I'll earn less over here with Flare Farm, but I'll earn more over here in Flare Loans. So that still continues. Then that will go down here and so on, right? So the loop still continues, just with a bit more focus on FXRP instead of on YFIN. There's a couple of things that I haven't touched yet, and that is the rewards pool. As you can see here in stage 1 and 2, we will also be getting daily rewards because we are holding an F asset. Now, if I go to, let me see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, so you can kind of, actually, I don't know if you've noticed here, it says 12 billion question mark 5 plus 7. It's just because it's not really essential right now, but it's just a bit unclear how this is divided to me. I'll have to look into this a little bit further, and I'll explain why. Because as you can see here, 45 billion Spark will go to the XRP holders. Okay, I have that here, 45 billion. 25 billion Spark Flare Limited. That's the 25 here. And then 30 billion Flare Foundation. Okay, so I have that here. So these are these three. But then if I look at, let me see where that is here. So a pool of 5 billion Flare is being dedicated to Litecoin participants, right? Now, the 5 billion does not increase the amount of Flare coming into existence, but it is redirected from the amount that would be accruing to Flare Foundation. So you can see that here, kind of. So I've subdivided Flare Foundation into, there you go, 5 billion Litecoin reward pool, right? So it's part of that, the 30 billion. But if I scroll down a bit more, is it on this one? Oh no, it's up here. There we go. So then this is the general F asset rewards pool. So here it says the general rewards pool currently derives its Flare tokens from exclusions and the XRP whale cap. This totals about 7 billion Flare. Okay. Or sorry, 7 billion Spark. It's FLR. To this, 5 billion will further be added. So to me, 7 plus 5 is 12. That's why I have 7 plus 5 here. 7 plus 5 is 12. However, where did it say it again? Yeah. Such that the foundation now starts out with 20 billion FLR. So I don't get this, because 30 billion minus 5 minus 12 is not 20. So I'll have to look into this. I might ask Flare. It's not relevant, but just want to kind of explain why I have a question mark here. Anyway, so we have this reward, the daily rewards pool. So this daily rewards pool is this part. So the payouts will be distributed across holders of all F assets, right? Except from Litecoin, because they have their own pool, right? That's that 5 billion here. And the calculation will be based on the Flare value. Now, so basically all you need to know is that every single day that you hold an F asset, you'll be getting like a fraction of this reward pool. So every day that we hold our stuff, say here, our FXRP in either, say, Flare Farm or in Flare Loans or whatever, as long as we have it, we will be earning more Spark. And more Spark means more Spark here, which means we can, delegate our more votes, means we'll earn more Spark. So this is another big loop, right? So the daily rewards pool into Flare Farm, into delegated vote, into more Spark, into, it's more and more loops. I just wanted to point that out there as well. Then, so stage 2 was preparing us for stage 3, and stage 3 will be, say that the bull market's over. All right, I know we don't want it to happen, but I think it's what happens in cycles, right? So, do you want to hold on to your XRP or your FXRP if it retraces about 90%? So this is something that I'm not 100% sure yet how I'm going to play this one out. If you have not yet seen my other video that I did on Nexo, I would advise that you watch it, because this is when that kicks in, right? And I'll give it a very quick breakdown now here. So basically when the market is going into a bear market, I will move into stage 3. So basically what that means is I will be taking my FXRP and bringing it back onto the XRP ledger as XRP, and then I will start working with Nexo. I will be using a combination of the Earn wallet and the Credit Line wallet, where I will basically be able to take out a loan to buy a house and pay off the house immediately without a mortgage. Then the loan that I've taken out on it, I will look to pay that back as soon as possible. And you're looking at, instead of say 25, 30 years, whatever the average mortgage is, looking to do it in maybe 1, 2, or 3 years. Now, once again, please watch the video I did on Nexo, because that explains all of this part, right? But that is for me stage 3. I think I'm just going to kind of give you a very high summary here. This is my plan. I have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 is earn as much YFIN as possible. Stage 2 is grow my FXRP holding so that when I swap it back into XRP, I get more. And then stage 3 is basically move my FXRP back into XRP, move it over to Nexo, and then start earning income from property, right? From renting it out. And paying back that loan as soon as possible, and then just buying more and more properties. That's kind of the end game. Now, keep in mind that when I move my FXRP back into XRP and head over to Nexo, the rest of the stuff here is still going. Right? It's still working for me. So because my Spark tokens are still here, they're still earning YFIN. YFIN is still earning more YFIN. Also APR on the Flare loans, moving that into Flare Mutual. So even though I take away part of the equation, the rest here still works. And I think the aim of the game, and this is what I'm trying to explain here, is you want to create as many loops as possible, right? Things that just keep growing and growing and growing, preferably without any effort from your side. So quick summary, the XRP that you get exchanged into FXRP, you can put that into something like, say, Flare Farm. That will earn you YFIN. That YFIN I'm going to put into Flare Loans, which will earn me APR on whatever assets, which I'll put back in here. So we have a loop going here. Then I will also have the YFIN that I earn on Flare Loans. I'll put into Flare Mutual. That will then earn me a share of the fee pool from Flare Loans, which means then I can put more into Flare Loans, which will kind of generate another loop here. Also here, the YFIN that I earn from Flare Mutual, I'll be putting back into Flare Mutual, right? So this will obviously be growing as well. So you can kind of see I've got a loop here, I've got a loop going here, I've got this loop going here. Then also the same here for the Flare Time Series Oracle. By getting more and more Spark, either from here, right, from the daily rewards, that grows my delegated vote, which earns me more Spark. And then we have another loop going here, right? This whole part here. So that's stage 1. Stage 2 is I'm going to move the FXRP from Flare Farm into Flare Loans, which will then just generate more FXRP. The rest stays the same. And then stage 3, when I think the market is going to head down, will be to move my FXRP back into XRP, and then using a platform like Nexo to get into more property kind of stuff. I hope I kind of explained this well enough. I know it's complicated. I know there's a lot of lines on the screen. If you have any questions, please let me know. I think for now, this is probably just a kind of a deep as deep as I want to go here. If you have questions, or if you would like me to make like a follow-up video explaining more, do let me know. Obviously, comment below if you like this. Please subscribe, like the video, share it around with everyone. And yeah, look, obviously when the platforms go live, I'll be actually putting this into action, I guess, just actually doing this. I will also be recording and sharing my my experiences with you as well. Any questions, guys, let me know. Other than that, have a lovely weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one.